Hello everyone, Phil here, and welcome to my gaming schedule update for 2024. This is actually going to cover a length of time between, say, January 2024 and the first few months of the year for which games, video games that is, have specific release dates. The purpose of this video is to serve as a guide if you're interested to know what kind of games I'll be playing in the first quarter or even first half of 2024. Well, this is your first look at that, and I think what this will actually do is not only for the first time give us some perspective on what we can look forward to next year, but also some of the times in the gaming schedule that may have big gaps, and that we can determine, what do we want to do during those gaps? Is there a game that I missed? Is there a classic game that I could do a throwback playthrough of? Notably, I own various different games that we could go back to. Or maybe a collection that I bought and I've only played one game of the collection and we could go back and play the rest. There's many different things that I think about that we could do. So, but for the record, this video I'm making right now and this portion of today's Christmas marathon, as you can see, we're being festive, we're being fun today. This is my Christmas annual event. This is meant to be relaxed. This is meant to be laid back. We're going to have open discussion in the chat of all kinds of stuff relating to Christmas and games. This is not just, I just go through a schedule for myself and that's all this is. This is an interactive stream. I want this to be fun. I literally just sat down with apple cider whiskey, which I'm about to start drinking and having a good festive time with my audience here. In fact, so this is, I think it's called like Tennessee or something like that. It's some brand. I don't know what brand it was. Had a big wreath, a big Christmas wreath on the front of it. Okay? It's only like 15% alcoholic volume, but because of that, you're able to sip it nice on the rocks. And it should taste pretty good. Let's see what this is like. Here we go. Wow. That is really good. You know what I wasn't expecting? A lot of cinnamon. It's got apple, but like a cinnamon flavor to it. So it's almost like an apple cinnamon whiskey. It doesn't really have much of a bite. It's just sweet and tasty like fruit. That's good. So I'll be drinking that. While we do this, maybe I'll have to get a refill at some point, or maybe mix it out. I have eggnog. I have actual hard whiskey where I could take a shot of peanut butter flavored whiskey, which sounds interesting to me. So this should be a fun video. All right, what I'm going to do, I'm going to be very transparent with all of you. I'm just going to go right over to IGN.com. I already have it opened. And what IGN does, if you go to their Discover tab on their main channel page, and you go to upcoming games, you can sort it by month, okay? So I just clicked January 2024, and we're going to go through and look at these various games and see if any of these make sense or sound interesting to us. But I can tell you right now, just taking a look as we're going to go through like entire lists of these games, I think January is a pretty darn dead month. January will pick up at the very end of the month, and then I think going into February, March, April, it gets much more busy for game releases. But I think January is actually going to be a very slow month, which is good, I guess, because that'll give us opportunity to focus in on some of the current playthroughs that I'm working on, like Baldur's Gate 3. Okay? So here we go. We're about to get started. Let's see here. Let's see. Are everyone ready to get started? Some people are coming back. They said, did I miss anything? You missed nothing. We're starting right now. And I'm going to have some more of this delicious whiskey. I'm not going to lie. This is the best apple whiskey I've ever had. I've had various different ones before. This almost tastes like the ingredients that's inside of an apple pie. That's what this tastes like a cinnamon apple filling. That's exactly what this tastes like. I didn't even think you could nail that. They nailed it. That is super duper good. Okay. It is good. Yeah, I feel like sounds good. It's super good. If you guys want the actual brand, I could look it up later. But I got it at my local liquor store. I don't know if it's a local brand or not. I have no idea. But it is ridiculously delicious. Okay. So, just to go through some of these games, I'm just going to start rattling off names. Starting on January 1st. Cabernet, Cats Hidden Around the World, Dread Pilots, Drova Forsaken Kin, Magical Delicacy, Psycho Robots, They Are Here, Alien Abduction Horror. All those games come out on January 1st. Doesn't sound like anything too riveting there, right? I don't think anything there's going to be too exciting that I'm too interested in checking out. All right, let's continue. Micro Machines Mini Challenge Mayhem. A Boy and His Blob, the Retro Collection. I think what they've done is they just ported the original Boy and His Blob games into like a collection of two. I think there was 2 of them, those games, if I don't remember correctly. And one was on NES. So I think all this does, it ports them. Those games, for those who never played them, I remember because I think I rented it once. It's a very cryptic game where you have a pet blob and it's all puzzles. There's very few enemies in the game. All you're doing is you're feeding your blob like jelly beans. And the blob transforms into different things to solve puzzles. So, like, you'll give it a certain jelly bean, it'll turn to an umbrella. So now you can walk under this room that had, like, stuff coming off the ceiling, and it'll bounce off the umbrella so you won't die. It's neat, but at the same time, that's probably not a game that's good for streaming. That's a game you want to mess around for yourself. I don't think that would be very entertaining. It's also very old. I mean, it's NES era. So, I don't really think that's going to be anything too interesting for you guys. Balance. I don't know what the hell that is. Tools Up Ultimate Edition. Super Normal, which looks like a really crappy rip-off horror game. It's on PC. Super Normal. PC only. Anyone heard of this? Let me click on it. Super Normal. It has no rating. It has no information whatsoever. Images and screenshots. There is a 50-second gameplay trailer. Inspired by Allison Road, Super Normal is a psychological horror game set in a seemingly ordinary apartment harboring dark secrets. Play as Detective Wyatt, tasked with unraveling the disappearance of Masato Sakamoto's daughter. Search for clues and unravel the sinister truth. Running on Unreal Engine 5. Tags, action, adventure, horror, mystery, and indie. From Hitori Day Productions. A first-person horror game. PC only. I mean, here's the thing, and this is kind of interesting. I have a mini PC now. We're actually going to play a game on it today. It can run new games at least like mid-settings. It can't go crazy, but it can run games at mid-settings. So a game like this, if you were interested in me checking out this indie-style horror game on January 8th, Super Normal, I might be able to. I have absolutely no idea if you guys care about that and would want to see me play that or not. That would be your call, I guess. Here, let me click on January 2024 again, because now, here's what sucks. I'm going to have to open new tabs when I click on games, because when I just clicked on that one, it completely reset my whole schedule, so I have to load it over again. Super Normal. It says that they've been working on the game for 2 years. Oh, yeah? If you liked PT, this might be worth checking out. Do you want me to write this down? Super Normal, January 8th as a maybe? Because I actually have a PC now. Alright, I'm going to write it down as a maybe. Super Normal, January 8th. Okay. We'll look into it. We'll look into that. Okay. Cool. Where did I get that? Jack says, where did I get the hat? If I remember correctly, it was the first year my wife had moved in with me. Or, no, it might have been 2017. Before she moved in with me, but she was spending the holidays with me. We went Christmas shopping to get a bunch of stuff, and I bought a new sweater that year, and I bought hat. I think I bought this hat along with the other sweater. I think we got it at Spencer's Gifts, you know, the store at the mall. But I'm not sure. And by the way, it lights up. I'll just show you quick. I don't want to leave it on because it bothers some people, the lights. So it does light up. See that? And it's kind of nice, but the battery doesn't last very long. The battery, if you turn it on, it'll only last a few hours and the battery dies. It's one of those big, round, flat batteries. I don't know what they go in, like clocks and stuff. It's a nice hat. Wear it to a party, but definitely not something like this would probably be bothering people if I left it on like this whole stream. So there you go. I'm pretty sure I got it at Spencer's Gifts, if I remember correctly. Does it get hot? It's thin. It's a very thin hat. So it's actually, it keeps you kind of semi-warm, but it's not a thick hat or anything that's uncomfortable. It's a pretty nice hat. So, don't know if they still have it or not. If I got it, I would have bought this like 6 years ago, something like that. So who knows if it still exists, right? You could probably get a variation that's similar though, right? Okay. Have I thought about doing emulators on my mini PC? Yes, in fact, we are very much We were very much considering playing Fightcade to play retro fighting games, and that's an emulator suite and or other things. The catch with emulators is you got to be careful. Obviously, you don't want to get in trouble for it, and I don't know what the ins and outs are, the legality of this stuff. So, okay, so Super Normal, the first maybe game, because it's a horror game, an indie horror game on PC, January 8th. Laika Aged Through Blood, War Hospital, Sovereign Syndicate, Time Survivors. This one I've actually heard of. The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners. I've heard it's terrible. I've heard that they tried to make a Walking Dead game, and people who've played this game early or whatever are saying it's absolutely atrociously bad and not worth anyone's time. Personally, I have not seen an episode of The Walking Dead since the first season with Negan. So I have no idea what happened with the show since the Negan season. And I think the show ended, didn't it? And now they have spin-off shows instead. I can't believe people still watch that stuff. I mean, it's been, what, like 15 years? How long are you going to watch that shit? But, does any of that stuff sound good, or should we keep going here? Anything sound good? Laika Aged Through Blood is an action-adventure Metroidvania. Ah. Move on. Keep going. Now, keep in mind, I can play PC games. I'm not used to this. I used to be, PC game, indie game, skip it. Now I can actually play them. Maybe 2024 should be the year where I actively try to play a few indie games on PC every once in a while, right? I think that might be a good idea, that this coming year we try to mix it up because I have the PC now. I think so. SD Chargers, Merry Christmas to you. He says, Merry Christmas for my Golden Retriever, Harley, and I. I hope you and your Golden Retriever have a great holiday. I love dogs, by the way. I'd love to see a picture of your Golden Retriever if possible. Okay. I'm glad you're enjoying the marathon so far, Derek, but we just started. Okay. Sublime HC Type says, maybe that Walking Dead is like Ride to Hell Retribution. Maybe it'll be good. That'd be funny. All right, let's continue. Tintin Reporter, Cigars of the Pharaoh. They're making Tintin games in 2024? Tintin? I'm shocked at that. I mean, not to say that there's nothing wrong with Tintin, but has anyone thought about Tintin in like the last 15 years? Didn't they make that the 3D movie at one point? That's really weird to me. Toy Trains, Atlas Wept, Bonson Knights. The hell that is? Are you kidding me? Bulletstorm VR. Over 10 years later, they ported that Bulletstorm game to be VR. I guess better late than never. I mean, how long were they going to wait to do that? Right? Holy crap. Fractured Veil, Hunt Together, New Cycle. I don't know what any of these games are. The first game here that I actually recognize is Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown, and that's on January 18th. Now, here's the thing. Okay? Basically, this game is a throwback. This does not play like any of the Prince of Persia games that I have played in the past. In the past, I played two different ones. I can't remember what the names of them were, but they were both early on in my YouTube career, and they were on Xbox 360, I believe. And they basically turned Prince of Persia into this like 3D action platforming wall running game, right? This game looks to me like they took the ideas from the original Prince of Persia franchise from way back in the day when it was a 2D platformer with time manipulation mechanics, and they've gone back to those roots. Of course, it looks much better. It probably will play like a modernized game, but it looks like it's going to be puzzles, combat, like all that stuff combined, all right, in a 2D atmosphere. And I'm curious, would you guys like to see that? Here's the thing. If I'm going to play that, I'm just going to renew my Ubisoft Plus subscription service, and it's like $18, and then you get that game along with all the other Ubisoft games for a month. So if I do it, that's how I'll do it. I'm not going to buy the game outright. I'll get that for the month and I'll play it. But I don't know if that's something you guys would be interested in. It very much will play like an old school 2D platformer style game with some time manipulation mechanics. But I don't know if that's going to be something you guys are going to like. You know, so when I go for games like that, a lot of the times I'm interested in them, but you guys aren't. Do you want me to put it on the schedule as a maybe? Oh, really? Lady Christmas says that the Saints and Sinners Walking Dead game is actually good. It's a game called Destiny that's trash. Oh, really? Janders, you're not locked in. You just pay for the 1 month, and then you just immediately cancel it. So you get $18, and you get all the games for the month. For example, this game, I guarantee you, is $30 or $40 to buy. So if you pay $18, you get the game for the month, and you beat it. You're never going to play it again, right? So why spend it? Why buy it outright when you can just get the subscription, play it once, you're done? It hasn't forced you into auto-renew or anything. So should I put this one as a maybe? Like, I'll be honest, I'm not sold you guys are going to care about this. Okay? So, Prince of Persia. It's called The Lost Crown. And that's January 18th. I said 18th. Okay. Alright. Alright, Rising Lords. Don't know what that is. Turnip Boy Robs a Bank. Turnip Boy got a sequel game, huh? I always see that Turnip Boy game all over the place. Like, it's like an indie game. It must have been a very popular indie game. I always see it on Game Pass and everything. So he's got a sequel coming out in January. Jeez. He's upping the ante. His first game, he committed tax fraud. In this one, he's robbing a bank. So he's increasing the level of crimes that he's committing to become more and worse and worse. Interesting. Man, that is good. That is good whiskey. We've got another Code Recollection, Retro Wave World, The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered. I might as well just bring this up. No, I'm not playing The Last of Us 2 Remastered. There's literally no point to me playing it. Why? It's literally The Last of Us 2 with improved graphics, a few tweaks, a little bit of bonus content, but nothing special. It's not like it's a reimagining of the game. It's the same game with a slightly better graphics and a few things. I've actually told you guys I don't have issue with this. Unlike The Last of Us Part 1, which they pretended was a new game and wasn't, and they charged $70 for it. This one, if you own Last of Us 2, it's $10. That is fair to me. I literally cannot criticize that. $10 is a very fair price for an update. So if you wanted to play it on PS5 instead of PS4, better graphics, a few new things added in, $10, that's fine. But as you guys know, I really, really don't like The Last of Us 2. The story is atrocious in my opinion. So I would not want to get this and play it again, so I'm not going to. I'm just going to stay away from it. So not for me, but maybe for you. Okay? Really? SD Charger says that YouTube ban happened to me. It was because of having too many multiple accounts. They don't notify you. You'll find out the next time you try to do anything on a YouTube account dashboard. Canadian Kirk, who is saying that he seems to be banned everywhere and can't talk and chat, you might want to check out your dashboard and see if you have a pop-up. There you go. Maybe you have 12 sock accounts and now you're banned on all of them. Who knows? It could be. Okay. Continuing on. Howl. Neptunia Sisters versus Sisters. Where do they get these names from? Ugly. Hey. You know what? Screw you, man. Who you gonna call me that? I'm just trying to go through the game schedule and the IGN just called me ugly. Anyway. Enshrouded. Roots of Yggdrasil, The Witch's Cauldron, Apollo Justice Ace Attorney Trilogy. Now, before someone says, Phil, are you playing Apollo Justice Ace Attorney Trilogy? You never played any of those games. Everyone relax. Everyone relax. Okay? Listen, over the years, the Phoenix Wright series is a series that I have played, all right? And I've enjoyed, for sure. I've absolutely played and enjoyed. Oh, Gabriel says he did a super chat. Okay, Gabriel, sorry I missed it. I will shout it out after I talk about this. I played, was it the first 3 Ace Attorney games? I think it was, right? There was the first one. I think I played the 2 sequels. So I think I've played 3 of these games. And then I also play Professor Layton meets Phoenix Wright. So technically, I've played 4 Phoenix Wright games over the years, all right? You may have noticed I haven't played a Phoenix Wright game in a very, very long time, okay? There's 2 primary reasons for this. Reason number 1 is because these games tend to be incredibly long. They do. They tend to be, like, super duper lengthy, and because of that, you know, you're talking upwards of 40, 60, 80 hours, And to get through that takes a long time. You basically need to have a big commitment in your schedule. It's hard to find that kind of commitment these days with the variety of games and things that are coming out. You know, back when I was playing the Phoenix Wright games back in the day, there weren't this many frequent releases, and now there's just a lot, so it's very hard to find that kind of timing, you know? In addition, these games are so much dialogue, and there's zero voice acting, that I end up having to read it all, right? And when I read it all, it's very taxing on my voice. It tires me out. And a lot of the times, some of the times I've played these Phoenix Wright games, I've actually lost my voice reading all that dialogue aloud and even doing some voice acting for it, for you guys. I'm not saying I don't enjoy it. I'm just saying it is a huge commitment. Now, here's the other thing. Since I've played Phoenix Wright games, all right, I've changed. I'm now an interactive streamer, right? It's very different the way that I do stuff today than when I was doing those Phoenix Wright playthroughs way back in the day. I'm not an offline YouTuber anymore. I don't have the kind of audience that I think would be retained for that game. I'm just being honest. I think the games are great. I think that they're really cool murder mystery investigation games with a courtroom. I like that. But I don't really know at all, if I were to play one today, if anyone would give two craps about it. So, as much as I acknowledge this collection exists, I don't think I'm interested in it now. Unless something changes my mind or convinces me otherwise, I just don't foresee it being something that's going to work in my content. Okay? Okay, so I did miss a super chat. Gabriel the Blessed with a $2 super chat says, PC opens you up to so much more horror games. Do it. Yeah, you're right. Like, I'm very happy and appreciative of this mini PC that was donated to me. All right, because Gabriel the Blessed. There we go. Because this in next year, it could literally open me up to more stuff that I've never experienced before. And the really cool thing about that is it's going to basically make it so there's no more downtime. You know what I'm saying? If PC games are now an actual option for me, right? This means I have endless amounts of content from Steam and the like that I can play to fill in the gaps between big releases. It's no longer, oh no, well, I got to go back and replay a game or play a million hours of a multiplayer game no one wants. Instead, I could fill in the blanks with these games. But the thing is, I need your help to figure out which ones, right? That's going to be the key, tricky part. What are the games people would actually want to see from like an indie PC perspective? So, okay. More whiskey that tastes like apple pie. I was right. Derek's confirmed. He says, I played Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney, then Justice for All, then Professor Layton versus Phoenix Wright, and then lastly, Trials and Tribulations. Trials and Tribulations was 2019. That was the last one I played. Cool. Okay. Very true. Lady Charisma brings up that I skipped the games like Deltarune and stuff that I could play. You're absolutely right. All right, continuing on with the release schedule. All right, so far we've got Super Normal January 8th, Prince of Persia Lost Crown January 18th. These aren't 100% confirmed. These are ones I'm interested in. Demeter, the Asclepios Chronicles, Go Mecha Ball, Tohu Luna Knights, Under Night In Birth 2 Sis Celes. Okay, Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. I'm pretty sure we're all interested in this one, right? Why on earth did it go all caps? So that's coming out January 26th. And then guess what? Also coming out January 26th, Tekken 8. Now that sucks. Because those are two games that I really want to play. And they're on the same day. So I can't even commit the daytime stream to both games on the release day because they're both coming out the same stinking day. Man, that's going to be tough. An RPG and a fully action-based fighting game coming out at the same time. I'm going to want to play both as daytime streams, right? I'm definitely playing both games. It's just going to be a matter of how do we juggle. Maybe we'll alternate. Maybe one day we do this and that, then we swap that and this and that and this, right? We might have to. I don't know how to initially just even determine what will be that first day, but that's going to be fun but tricky to handle because you're going to have those are completely different audiences, right? People who want to see Like a Dragon are the RPG audience that love these fun, lengthy playthroughs, and then people who want Tekken are the action-based audience, right? It's going to be tricky, but I think it's going to be fun, so I'm excited for that. Okay, Nevermorn, don't know what that is. Dark Light, Rugby 24, Death Stranding Director's Cut, One Punch Man World? What in the holy hell is that? I don't think I'm interested in that. And Speed Crew. Those are the January games. Okay, from what I'm seeing. We're going to move over to February now. So did I miss anything? Did I miss anything, or does it sound like I caught everything there? By the way, a couple tips have come in. I will shout those tips out in a second. Thank you to people who tipped here. I appreciate that. Did all that sound good, or did it sound like I missed anything? Thank you, Eternal Napalm. I'm going to talk about that in a second. That's in February. Turnip Boy. I don't think I'm going to play Turnip Boy. What's the third one? Turnip Boy steals the White House or something, right? Turnip Boy steals the election, becomes president inadvertently. I am loving this drink, Catamac. Or Catanamac. Katanamac? Maybe it's Katanamac. It's really tasty. Yummy. Okay. Turnip Boy flashes Twitch and gets banned. A very pertinent third installment for today anyway. All right, let's continue. Sorry, we're not going to talk about that in this video. Go watch my podcast from earlier today if you want to hear about that one. Okay, 2 tips have come in. I received a $20 tip from Only Iced Infinite, wishing you and your family a very Merry Christmas. Give Jasper some treats for me. I shall. We're actually going to begin giving him toys tonight. He's going to get a toy tonight from his big stocking that we bought him of new toys. We'll see what he likes. So thank you very much, Only Iced Infinite. And then I received a $20 tip from Dan the Man, who says, "Hey, Phil. Happy holidays, Dan the Man. How's it going? Hopefully things are going well for you. And I appreciate you swinging by and supporting the stream today. Guys, just so you know, there is no goals for today whatsoever. I'm happy for whatever you guys do to support the channel. Thank you so very much. Anything is greatly appreciated. Thank you so much. All right. Cool. Let's continue on with the schedule, shall we? So now we're going to head into February. And the first game listed for February is Grand Blue Fantasy Relink. And I'm being told, basically, this is not like the Grand Blue Fantasy game I played 2 years ago that was a fighting game. That this is some kind of an RPG that's a combination of like Nier and Dragon Quest. But I'm going to be honest with you, all right? I'm going to be playing Like a Dragon Infinite Well. That's going to be the RPG. Also, I'm not going to have beaten Baldur's Gate 3 by then. Even though it sounds like I'll be playing Baldur's Gate 3 like all of January, if the game is as long as people say, I'm still going to be playing it. So if I'm playing Like a Dragon, if I'm still somehow playing a little bit of Baldur's Gate, I don't see how I'm playing another RPG. And this seems to be a running pattern. Too many of the same style of game keep coming out around the same exact time of the year, and they're also lengthy. There's no way anyone could actually beat them all at once, right? Imagine it. Just think about this. The year is 1994, all right? Imagine if Final Fantasy VI or 3, Chrono Trigger, The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past, one of the Phantasy Star games, a Dragon Quest game, Secret of Mana, and Legend of Dragoon all came out within a 4-month window. Do you think anyone would have known about those games? Do you think any of those games would have gone down to be as legendary as they were? You know what I mean? No. But the problem is, in today's climate, a lot of these game companies seem to sadly release all of their same style of game right next to each other. And they don't really look around and say, hey, what else is coming out around? Imagine if, think about this. Imagine if Street Fighter 6 came out in June, Mortal Kombat 1 came out in July, and Tekken came out in August. Would that have made any sense? No. They spaced themselves out over the course of about a year so that none of them really conflicted. Why do we have Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, this Grand Blue game, Persona 3 Remake, and Final Fantasy VII Rebirth within 1 month. How can you fucking play all those games? That's not even possible. So why are they not looking at that? They're literally, what they're doing is they're self-cannibalizing their own genre. You can't have that many lengthy games released back-to-back like that and expect that everyone's going to buy every one of them and play them all and eat them up. So even me, those games all sound good, but there's no way I can play them all. So what's going to happen, I have to pick the ones that I'm most interested in. So what am I most interested in? Like a Dragon and Final Fantasy VII. Those are the two I'm most interested in. People are going to have to make these decisions, right? Again, if these games weren't 80 to 100 hours long, then maybe it wouldn't be that big of a decision, but there are. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm thinking is we're going to have to skip some. And since Like a Dragon comes out to 26 and I'm playing it, Grand Blue Fantasy is a skip for me. Now, I'm not saying I wouldn't maybe in the future go play it if people say, hey, it's an epic game, you missed out. But, you know, I just, at this point, I'm not committing to that at all. Well, you know what I'm saying? Like, that'd be crazy. So, sorry, and I apologize to those who maybe were interested in that. So, continuing on, Jujutsu Kaisen Cursed Class. The next one is Persona 3 Reload. That comes out February 2nd. I'm not playing it. And there's two critical reasons why I'm not playing it. And it's not that it doesn't look good. It does. It looks like they took Persona 3 and they redesigned the game to be Persona 5. It has that style of graphics, that style of open world wandering around. You know, the combat looks more refined. It looks like a great game. It absolutely does. If you're a fan of the Persona franchise, I can't imagine why you wouldn't play it, except there's two critical reasons why I'm not. Critical reason number one, again, is the exact same reasoning I just said. Okay, excuse me. I'm already going to be playing Like a Dragon. Final Fantasy VII's coming up in a few weeks. Those are the two big ones for me. So it's just bad timing. I've already played Persona 3. So I know the plot of the game. I know the characters. I know what the fights are going to be. If this were a brand new Persona, if this were Persona 6, then I'd be more apt to say, okay. But because it's not, because it's a remake of a game I've already played, it really kind of sets it back for me. But the other major reason, I've already talked about this, and I'm glad I'm now talking about this in the schedule update. The other major reason I'm not playing Persona 3 Reload at launch, Atlas. Allow me to take a sip before I explain why. Ladies and gentlemen, Atlas Japan is infamous for striking down streamers and content uploaders of their new games for absolutely no good reason. While the entire gaming landscape of content is okay, for some reason, Atlas Japan has issue with people playing their games at launch and either streaming or uploading videos of them, okay? Usually, they come out with these weird criteria saying, well, if you abide by this rule set and you don't pass this part of the game by this date and you don't reveal this critical plot point and this boss, you're okay. But even when you follow those rules, they still will hit you with copyright strikes. This happened to me during Persona 5 many years ago. I was absolutely loving the game. It was one of my Game of the Year contenders. All right? And I'm playing it, and all of a sudden, even though I'm following all of the criteria laid out by Atlas, they still gave me copyright strikes. And they screwed up this channel for months. I had to get it cleared up. It took weeks to clear it up. I had to contact Atlas USA, and I said, what is going on? They contacted Atlas Japan and said, we don't have an answer for you. They weren't even abiding by their own criteria that they laid out for streamers. They struck you anyway for no good reason. So the good news is I did get those released, but I almost had my entire playthrough removed from YouTube. I almost had my entire channel suspended as a result of Atlas hitting me with these strikes. So until Atlas somehow comes out and says to the world, we're not doing anyone with strikes anymore, I don't play Atlas games. If anything, if you want me to play Persona 4 or Persona 3 Reload, I gotta wait like a year. Because that's what I did. I suspended my Persona 5 playthrough. 1 year later, I resumed it, and I was able to finish it no problem. So, don't blame me, blame Atlas. I actually was interested in Persona 3 Reload, but I just can't take the chance. I can't have my business shut down because this company doesn't know what they're doing. Okay? Alright, continuing on. Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. Oh, boy. Well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put that on the schedule, but I'm not saying I'm going to play it. All right. That's February 2nd, okay? I just want it on the schedule, and what we will do is we will continue to observe this game. Honestly, everything I've seen about the game does not look good. It really looks bad. It just looks like Rocksteady lost their way, and their rationale is, oh, well, we're being true to the source material. Then don't make a game about the Suicide Squad. They're boring. They suck. No one likes them. I don't know why you thought, just because Hollywood is stupid and throws money at dumb shit, you've now had 2 Suicide Squad movies that failed. What made you think a game was going to be good, right? So now, I got a question to ask, okay? The first Suicide Squad movie sucked and flopped. The second Suicide Squad movie flopped. If the game flops, will they still make Suicide Squad content? Have they not learned their lesson yet? Will they continue making this shit? I'm at a loss that they're even made, why this game was made. I'm really lost. You know what I mean? Like, have they learned yet? Or do we have to make another dozen before they realize no one cares about the Suicide Squad or wants any content of them, right? Anyway, it doesn't look good to me. I have it on the schedule to maybe take a look at later, but for me, it just doesn't look that good, and I don't know if I'm going to play it or not, okay? Little Shake and Bake, thank you for another super chat. Cool. Okay. Continuing on, Adam Outlaw says, my friend loves them and games and stuff, and he's like, oh man, this is going to be game of the year. Oh no. Oh no. Anyway, Clem, I have no idea what that is. It looks like an indie game. Mixture. Toho Danmaku Kagura. Fantasia Lost. Helldivers 2. Lost Terminal. Banishers, Ghosts of New Eden, Fight Crab 2, News Tower. So far, I mean, we're into mid-February now. None of this is sounding like anything I'm interested in, but admittedly, between Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth, and Tekken 8, and me maybe continuing Baldur's Gate and stuff, that might be enough to carry me through February. You know what I mean? Like, those are some really big games that I think may actually carry us through the month, regardless of the fact that all these little games that I'm mentioning aren't sounding that important or big or good. You know what I'm saying? People person, I changed my schedule on X and also on my channel page just a couple days ago. Just a few days ago. And it's a new template I'm using. And already you're saying, I don't know when you changed it, but your schedule was way easier to read. It's much better now. I'm gonna if the feedback is that you like the new schedule, I'm gonna keep using it. I wanted to see what people would have to say about it. You're literally the first person to give me feedback. So if you think it's good, I'm gonna roll with it and keep using it. The other cool thing about it is easy to edit, and I can color code stuff if I feel like it. I could do some cool stuff with that one. Okay. More apple pie whiskey. That's good. Devin did a super chat. Said I saw James Gunn's Suicide Squad. It was awesome. Nothing like Guardians of the Galaxy, but it is a lot of fun. I personally, let me put it this way: it's more digestible than the original Suicide Squad movie, but it's still not good in my opinion. Like, I didn't like it. I thought there were too many scenes where they're trying to go. I hate movies where they're trying to go over the top with a moment that people will meme or something. Like, Harley Quinn, like a superpowered superhero, leaps through the air and rips through the eye of a giant alien and kills it. No, that would never happen in DC Comics. That would never happen in the animated series. Harley Quinn is a street criminal who is the sidekick of the Joker. She is not a superheroine. She has no superpowers. She cannot do that. If she jumped at its eye, she would die. That's what I mean. It's like, you just completely ignore the source material so you can have a memeable moment that everyone would talk about. No. That's terrible. And the whole movie was like that. Keep having these ridiculous over-the-top moments that were not anything truthful to the characters. I didn't like that. It was just goofiness. So, Listen, it was still better than the other Suicide Squad movie, but I personally didn't like it. Okay? Okay. Alright. So, anyway. Tomb Raider 1, 2, and 3 Remastered comes out on February 13th. Here's the thing. I'm not opposed to eventually playing some of those games, but I've played Tomb Raider 1 and 2. They are not games that age well. They play very clunky. They are very frustrating to play. They're actually not even that fun in the modern era. Like, they've refined that formula, but back then it used to be like infinite ammo, run and gun, auto lock on aim, run, dodge to the side, shoot for like 5 minutes till the dinosaur dies. Then do clunky ass trying to climb the wall platforming, shimmy to the side. When you play Uncharted, okay? When you play Horizon, either one of them. Whenever you're playing one of these games where you climb something and you shimmy, or you know, that was all originated with Tomb Raider. That's actually the game that started all of that. But it was bad. Like, it was very frustrating to play back then. Now, we've had so many better games. This remastered version, all they did is improve the graphics. This game is going to play horribly. I don't think it's going to be entertaining for a modern audience. And I feel like a lot of people are going to go to play this and be like, what the hell? Like, I didn't know that the originals were this bad. Yeah, they are. You know, like they were innovative for the time, but they're just not good now. So I'm kind of against those. I don't think they would really work. Okay. Thank you, Ultra, for re-upping your membership for 4 months. I appreciate that very much. And Little Shake and Bake did another super chat. I think Little Shake and Bake wants to stay on that leaderboard. So every time someone does a super chat, they then do a super chat right after. I appreciate that. Thank you. Okay. Okay, continuing on. So, Tomb Raider Trilogy, maybe in the future, but I'm not feeling it. Ultros, I don't know what the hell that is. Arzet, the Jewel of Faramore, Solium Infernum, Sucker for Love, Date to Die For. Now, that one, I'm not playing. Played Up, no. Spirit Hunter Deathmark 2. All these games, I don't know what any of these games are. Undercover VR. Mario vs. Donkey Kong Switch Remake. If you're not aware, Mario vs. Donkey Kong was, I think they made 2 of them. They were handheld exclusive games that were puzzle platformers that were basically like, take the original Donkey Kong games, but now up the ante, make them more modernized, make them more complex, right? That's what they were. They're porting these to the Switch now. Would that make sense as a playthrough? I don't know. Again, is that something that would retain interest? I have no idea. What do you guys think? Would you be interested in seeing me play the Switch remake ports of the Mario vs. Donkey Kong games? Right? No, not Final Fantasy VI Ultros. It's just some random thing. Never heard of it. What's up, Crow102? How are you? Happy holidays. Good to see you here. Yes, yes, nah. Yes, yes, nah. That's the response I just got. All right, I'll put it as a maybe. Every once in a while, to have a Nintendo game thrown in is all right, I think. I'm not sold on it being anything that people want to see. That comes out February 16th. You know what else comes out on February 16th? Skull and Bones, my most anticipated game of 2024. Said no one. Right? How about the most delayed game of the last decade? Did you know Skull and Bones was announced the exact same time that Sea of Thieves was announced? They were. They were announced at the very same E3. Can you believe that shit? So that's coming out on the 16th. It's probably going to be atrocious. I don't foresee myself playing it. The Legend of Heroes Trails of Cold Steel 4, Madison VR, The Thaumaturge, Last Epic, Slave Zero X. Slave Zero X. Are you telling me this is a... Slave Zero was a PC game that came out in the early 2000s, and you controlled a mech, a Japanese-style mech, and you went through town destroying all these robots and shit. Are you telling me that they have a new Slave Zero game in 2024? That's weird. Bootstrap Island, Garden Life, A Cozy Simulator, King Arthur Knight's Tale. None of these, I don't think, are anything anyone wants to hear or see me play here. Nightingale, Pacific Drive, Promenade, Pizzle Cross, Story of Seasons, Siren the Wanderer, Mystery Dungeon. I mean, I'm just going to scoot back to the chat. Does anyone want to see me play any of these games or heard of any of them? Right? Why not play Chrono Cross next summer? We could. We could maybe if you guys were interested in that. I know they have the remake, right? They remade it with modern graphics and everything. So maybe we could do that next year if you guys are interested. I've never played it. Wow. Phil Ofwani says, I've been following you since your Disgaea 4 walkthrough playthrough. Wow, that's ages. Thanks for sticking with me, man. Happy holidays to you. Good to see you. So nothing. Like, I just mentioned all those games. None of those are standing out for anybody, right? Right? Okay, let's continue. Sympathy Kiss. Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons remake. That's right. They're remaking Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons with modern graphics. I loved that game back in the day. I actually did play it. It was one of the rare indie games I did play, and I thought it was amazing. But I have a full playthrough up of it. It's the same game. So again, I don't know if anyone would be interested. Star Wars Dark Forces remaster? That's interesting to me because wasn't that a very popular game a long time ago? Now, I never played it. But over the years, people always say, hey, did you ever play this game or that game? And some people have asked me about, did you ever play Star Wars Dark Forces? And I'm like, no, I don't even know what it is. Would you guys be interested in seeing me play the remastered version of that? What do you think? What just happened? Oh. Apparently we just got a ton of memberships just got gifted. I missed it. Hold on. NDO103 gifted 50 memberships to the channel. So congratulations to the following people. Jon Snow, Felix the Maid, Matthew, Notorious Gun, Iyuko, Shia, Kryptonite, AF, McCoy Ungoy, Garudo Ryan Gaming, Jade Van Zill, The Executioner, Umbral Witch, Cooking with Kyle, Zimbabwe Twinned with Anfield, Caleb777, Andrew Brown, Yo Boy Sergey, Rostin Floor Warden, Black Mage C-Type, The Name is Dom, Ashrob, Rude Lude, VT Cycling, Chris Moore, Zaylen999, Butt Stinkman, Gandhi King of Feet, Ew, Mutni, Retro Ruben, Sarah Sagata, Worst Jago, Ali Omar, Christian Ariza, Scarborough Man, Spalding, Ghost Vale, Matthew James, Soob, Dragon Master B 101, and KMF, but it's not done. We continue on. Sargis Ha, Ferndog, Liquid Hawk 7777, UF Chad, The Melodic Red, Noob Cybot, Teal Bomber, Dr. Kinnison, Decayed Paradigm. Is that the end? That might be the end. And I will check on the total number of channel members in a moment to confirm how many we truly have here before I update the leaderboard. So thank you so much, NDO. It's good to see you. Happy holidays to you. Thank you for stopping by. And thank you, obviously, for supporting the channel. Anyone who just got a gifted membership, be sure to thank NDO. This helps the community in a huge way for the next month. I'm sure everyone's going to enjoy these for the next month. So be sure to thank him. And, you know, 'tis the season. That was very nice of you, NDO. Thank you so very much. Okay. Cool. I think that's it. Let's check now. Let's actually see how many total we have on the channel right now. What just happened? Here we go. Here we go. Let's check it out. So with those gifted memberships, we are up to exactly on the dot 700 memberships. On the dot. So thank you, NDO. Happy holidays again to you. I really appreciate that. And I'm sure everyone else does as well. That was a really nice gesture. Cool. Outside of that, I haven't missed... No, I'm double checking. I'm refreshing everything. I don't think I've missed anything. Keep in mind, I'm on a different screen here. So, my apologies. I hope I didn't miss anyone's super chats or tips. I'm trying to keep up with that while I also go through the schedule. So, Derek is saying Star Wars Dark Forces, a first-person Star Wars shooter game developed by LucasArts from 1995. Wow. All right, I'm gonna put that one on as a possibility. Star Wars Dark... Oops. Oh, crap. Star Wars... Oh, come on. Dark Forces remake. And that is February 28th. It's a maybe. I'll tell you what's a definite. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth on February 29th. That's a 100% yes. Why am I so excited for that? I'll tell you why. Because it's not a remake. We're not expecting it to be exactly the same plot as Final Fantasy VII. In fact, it's kind of been promised there's going to be critical plot changes in the game this time around to make it so different from the original, and that's really cool. I want it to be seriously different from the original Final Fantasy VII. We've seen these like demon, almost corrupted versions of Barrett and Red 13, and I think that's going to be really neat to see what's different in this version versus the original, right? So I'm excited for that. I hope that you guys are too. Dr. Oink says you left a super chat. You did? Let me check. You did. He says, I'm going to lay down for a while and watch. Have a good stream. Thank you very much, Dr. Oink, for the latest super chat. Let me get you up on the leaderboard. Sorry, those pop-up messages are going to persist for a while since we get one per gifted membership, right? So those will go on for a while. Thank you, again, NDO, for that. Thank you, Dr. Oink, for the super chat. Okay. So, guys, now we're going to head into March. March 2024, all right? First game is called The Mobius Machine. Expeditions, a Mud Runner game. Life by You. The first game that I even recognize is the Outlast Trials, and that's coming out on March 5th, all right? So here's the thing. I am going to put that on my schedule, but it's actually a maybe for me. And the reason, there's two reasons why this is a maybe. The Outlast Trials, March 5th, right? Reason number one. I played Outlast 2 and I did not like it at all. Outlast 1 I actually really liked. Outlast 2 I did not like in any way. I thought it was boring. I thought it was too gory. I didn't think it was scary at all. I actually it didn't resonate with me at all. So I was like, you know, why would I want to play this next one? All right. Now, Outlast Trials also, if you looked at it, seems to almost be like a survival Saw-esque game. I don't know if it's following it with the spirit of a first-person horror game as much as like a bunch of gore. I don't know. I'm not sure yet. Okay? I'm going to put it on the schedule. It's March 5th, Outlast Trials. But I'm not sold yet on it. I think as we get closer, maybe we'll get more information, more gameplay of it, and then we can make a determination. But for now, it's just kind of a, I don't know yet. It's something that I thought I would be interested in because I really liked Outlast 1, but Outlast 2 stunk so bad that I don't know if I would want to play this new one. It's also been a million years since Outlast 2, so I don't know what they're doing with this one, right? Okay. Yeah, Outlast Trials was supposed to come out May of last year. It got delayed massively, and now it's coming out in March. That's correct. Okay, continuing on. As Dusk Falls, the port is coming on March 7th, but we already played it on Xbox, but it's getting ported to PlayStation now. Crown Wars: The Black Prince, Zoria: Age of Shattering, Homeworld 3, Unicorn Overlord, Ib Remake, Paint the Town Red VR, Godzilla vs. Kong 2? That's not even on a console. I don't even know what that's on. That's not even on like a regular format. Outcast: A New Beginning. Do any of those games sound like anything anyone's interested in? Honestly, I'm just curious. Does any of that sound like something you guys would want to see? I don't even know what any of those games are. They're claiming there's a Godzilla vs. Kong 2 game coming out, yet we've seen zero footage of it and don't know what it is. So I don't think it's true. I don't think it's coming out. Unicorn Overlord is poorly named. It's actually a strategy JRPG like Langrisser or Final Fantasy Tactics. What? What? Why'd they call it Unicorn? Unicorn Overlord. What a great name. That'll really put the butts in the seats, right? That is pretty silly. Okay. All right, well, all of those none of those really interest me. By the way, I received a $2 tip from Gabriel. Do you still have 10 memberships to gift this month? Indeed, I do have 10 memberships to gift out today. And I think I will gift 5 of those memberships as soon as we finish with this schedule and we get into the first game. How about that? I think we will. All right. So I have 10 memberships to gift out to the community today. I'll gift 5 when we start the first game after this ends. Thank you for reminding me, by the way. I appreciate that. Okay. Bread says if I put peanut butter whiskey in the freezer, it will taste better. Do you think so? Really? You think like ice cold, the peanut butter whiskey would taste better? Have I been boozing? I'm drinking this apple pie whiskey, which is just about done. And then I'm going to go get maybe some eggnog next. It's really good, this apple pie whiskey. All right. So yeah, nothing, right? I haven't missed anything, right? Okay. Alone in the Dark, March 20th. So this was a horror game, all right, starring that actor who's on Stranger Things as the sheriff guy, as well as, didn't he play Hellboy in the reboot and a bunch of other movies? Didn't he just play Santa in a horror movie or something like that? Something silly. So this is a game that looks decent and actually has a good cast, but it keeps getting delayed. First, it was supposed to come out the same time as David Harbour. Thank you. That's the actor's name. First, it was supposed to come out for Halloween, but then it got delayed till January. Then it got delayed again, and now it's coming out March 20th. So I got it on the calendar. I'm interested in it, but the thing is, we just don't have a lot of information about it, right? So until we actually have like more concrete info, I'm not sold on it, but at the same time, it's a little disappointing that the game keeps getting delayed. It's obviously not a good sign. House Flipper 2. Now, that is one that I've been waiting for. It's about time that they made a sequel to that House Flipper game. I've been flipping those houses for the greater part of a decade. And at this, let me tell you, in this market, I just can't make a profit. No one has the money to get a mortgage. So with House Flipper 2, hopefully the interest rates are amended so that it's like post-inflation and I can actually make more profits. I'm joking. No one cares about House Flipper 2. But what people do care about is Dragon's Dogma 2 that comes out on March 22nd. Now that is cool. That is a follow-up sequel to a game I played over a decade ago. I even remember playing it during a time when I was going to conventions and the like, because I particularly remember that I was playing the expansion Dark Arisen right before I went to a convention, and I spent the entire night before not sleeping, but instead drinking. I was drinking rum and coke and playing it, and I played it for like 10 hours straight, and I got to the very end of the DLC, and I ran out of time and didn't beat it, but I had like so much content up unexpectedly of this DLC before I went to the convention that nobody cared. I literally had like 10, 12 hours of the DLC up before anyone had played it yet. I was like, oh my god, Phil like completely beat everyone to the punch. So Dragon's Dogma I really, really liked back in like, what was it, 2012? Yeah, Derek just confirmed. It was May 2012 when the game came out, and that's when I started playing. I loved it. It's basically, it's like Monster Hunter combined with Dark Souls. That's actually what it feels like. And you got these teams of you know, you control your team, you go out and you take down monsters. Each person has a critical role they do, and you hit them at weak point, stuns the monster, and you can do like a giant group attacks on it and stuff. It's seriously fun. I'm actually really looking forward to the sequel. So that's on March 22nd. Okay. And then Princess Peach Showtime is March 22nd. All right. And if you don't know what that is, oh my god, I can't type on this thing. Princess Peach Showtime is when Princess Peach actually is getting her own platformer game. 100% it's hers. It's not Mario. It's her doing all the gameplay. Which is funny because she was in Super Mario Bros. 2, the American version, way back when. And then she never really had her own game. It's weird because she was a very good character in Super Mario 2. And that took them this long to finally make a game with her. It's weird that it took that dang long, honestly. It really is. But that's March 22nd. But guess what else is March 22nd? Rise of the Ronin. That game that we just saw showcased on the Game Awards. And it looked really good. It looked like it was stealth combined with some unique abilities in combat. It was hard to put your finger on exactly what it was going to be, but it did not look half bad at all. It looked pretty good. So I'm actually excited. There's 3 games all coming out on the same day, March 22nd. Okay? And it's pretty crazy. All right? Now, there's another game. Let's keep going. South Park Snow Day. This was just announced, and they showed gameplay of it. And quite honestly, it looks like a fairly fun online team-based kind of almost like combat party game. You know what it reminds me of? The Plants vs. Zombies games. That's what it reminds me of. The Plants vs. Zombies online games where you would do silly combat against each other. That's what this looks like to me. So I'm going to put that on the schedule as a maybe. Apparently it only is like $30 or $40. It's a discounted game. It's not a full retail game. So maybe I would check it out. Maybe I wouldn't. Okay? As for the rest of March, there's not too much to speak of here. Cricket 24, Touch Detective 3, Flint Buckler Wakes His Sleepy Castle. I'm not even kidding. Lightyear Frontier, and that's it. Nothing else has a solid date. Okay? So now as we go forward, now we're really starting to get into the really skimpy stuff, because a lot of the stuff now is basically stuff that doesn't really have concrete release dates. For example, I'm going to go through all of April right now. You ready for this? Don't Be Afraid, Europa, Uranagi Generation, or Umurangi Generation, Euden Chronicle 100 Heroes, Tales of Zenzera Zao, Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Kaiba Sweep the Leg, or it's not Sweep the Leg, it's Sweep something with a cutoff, Manor Lords, and Braid Anniversary Edition. That's literally the entirety of April that has solid release dates right now. Right? Does any of that sound like anything anyone would want to see? Probably not. So right now it sounds like April's completely empty, right? May, Toho Mystia's Izakaya and Broadsword Warlord Edition. So as you can see, we're basically coming down to there's just no release dates for any of these games anymore. So I think this is probably where we're going to adjourn with the schedule update, because as I click on these future months, they have nothing. They're empty. The only other game that has a solid release date that I'm interested in is Black Myth Wukong. And that's coming out August 20th. That's literally like the only one I'm seeing as I click on these months moving forward. Yeah. So, I think that's where we're going to end it. So, let's now review. You ready for this? Let's review all of the games. And let's actually, now we get all my menus open now because all my menus have been closed. Screwed up. Okay. Here's what we're looking at. All right? For this year coming up. In January. Super Normal, January 8th, which looks like an indie horror game on PC. I don't know much about it, but it's a maybe. Okay. Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown, January 18th. Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth, January 26th. Tekken 8, January 26th. Suicide Squad is a maybe, February 2nd. Mario vs. Donkey Kong, February 16th. Star Wars Dark Forces Remake, February 28th. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, February 29th. The Outlast Trials, March 5th. Alone in the Dark, March 20th. Dragon's Dogma 2 on March 22nd. Princess Peach Showtime on March 22nd. South Park Snow Day on March 26th. Rise of the Ronin, March 22nd. I got those in wrong order. And Black Myth Wukong, August 20th. So, basically what I'm seeing here, if you take a look at the schedule, all right, it's looking to me like the entire month of January is almost completely empty until you get to the end. Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth, and Tekken 8 on the 26th. But, you know, Super Normal's a maybe. Prince of Persia's a maybe. So that means we're going to have potential to continue on with Baldur's Gate 3 as a major playthrough the whole month. That's great, because if each week I keep playing around 9 hours of gameplay, and you give it another 3-4 weeks, I'll probably end up being 50 plus hours into it by the time that now it kind of has to be reduced to play new games. So we'll be a very good chunk into Baldur's Gate 3 before we have to kind of put it on the back burner. Okay? It also looks like, I hate to say it, February is a dead month, but since I'm playing Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth, and Tekken 8, that very well might be enough to carry us. Those are two lengthy games with a lot of content, and if maybe I balance in one or two other things that are multiplayer or something different, it might actually work. And keep in mind also that we will have the mini PC, and there'll be potential for me to do other things on there, as filler, which is fine. You know what I mean? Continuing on then, you know, end of February is busy. March is not that bad. I'd say March is pretty busy. But then after that, we got nothing at all. Like, literally nothing going on, right? So, yeah, I would say the big ones, like now someone said, well, what's your most anticipated game of 2024? All right. Looking at this list, there's some good stuff on there, but I would say the ones I'm most interested in are Like a Dragon, Tekken 8, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and Black Myth Wukong. Those are probably my top 4, and I would really have to think hard, you know, which out of those. Like, I almost feel, and I know a lot of people might be shocked by this, all right? Many of you might be very shocked, all right? In fact, let me finish my drink. Prepare to be shocked. Are you ready? I actually think my most anticipated game of 2024 right now is actually Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Because I want to see what they're going to do different from the original game. Because that could be very interesting. If Sephiroth does not kill Aerith, or whatever the hell her name is in this one, right? And if the whole plot changes, it could potentially be really good. Because Final Fantasy VII is good, I just didn't like certain elements of the plot that were confusing. But I think the gameplay is incredibly sound. The universe is interesting. The music is outstanding. So if they roll with that and they change the plot around and make it a different story, I think it could be really good. I just hope they don't turn it into a multiverse mess. You know what I mean? Like, if you're going to change the plot line, fair enough. Sephiroth somehow found a way to shatter the plot line and change history. Okay, so now our heroes have to figure out a way to counter that. But don't make it a multiverse plot line where now there's 400 versions of each character and none of them matter. You know, I guess we'll have to see. I really am I'm really curious of what's going to happen here. But, all right. So, guys, it's been about an hour, right? Perfect. That's exactly what I was thinking. This would be about an hour, and it took about an hour. That's the game release schedule for 2024 so far that I'm interested in. I hope that makes sense. If I missed anything, I was going by the IGN listing. So, obviously, obviously, there could be a situation where I missed out on something that has a solid release date. And if that's the case, by all means, let me know if I missed it. I'd be more than happy to put it on the list if it has a solid release date. Okay? By the way, thank you, Haseo. Haseo is here today. He says, I've been a member for 31 months at the Super Supporter level, and says, Merry Christmas to all who are watching the stream. Thank you so much. Very, very much, Haseo. I really appreciate that. Hawkey says that Euden is from the Suikoden devs and the spiritual successors, so keep it on your radar. You know, I knew that, but I'm really waiting for this freaking Suikoden collection. Remember, they're remaking Suikoden 1 and 2 and making it a collection of all new graphics and things. That's what I want to play. Like, before I play Euden Chronicles or whatever it's called, I want to play the originals. They keep delaying it. So they've delayed it indefinitely and doesn't have a release date now. And that kind of disappoints me because I love the Suikoden games. I played them 1 and 2 in the 90s and loved them. And I want to play them again. But there's just no release date for these things. So, all right. So, guys, thank you so very much. Great hour with you going through these games. I hope that you guys have enjoyed so far. And, again, if you have any recommendations, anything I missed, anything that's a suggestion of a game that I should play, please share with me. Leave a comment on this video by all means. Come by one of my streams, recommend something. Okay? Let me know. But hopefully this now has let you know a good idea of what I'm going to play. And I would say right now our number one priority, we've got to figure out what we're going to be doing that first 3 weeks into January besides Baldur's Gate 3, because soon we're going to be finishing the RoboCop playthrough. We're going to be finishing Like a Dragon Gaiden, right? Once those are wrapped up, all we're left with is Street Fighter 6 multiplayer, Modern Warfare 3, and Baldur's Gate 3. That's not enough. We need more. We have to figure out what should be put in there as another playthrough during the month of January to balance so that we can have a good month. I don't know. I honestly don't know the answer to that question. I think we need to talk about it. Okay? All right, guys. Thank you so very much for watching my gaming schedule update for early 2024. I hope you enjoyed it. And I'll see you soon for a lot of these playthroughs. Peace out, everybody, and happy holidays.